So we started this series by talking about decisions. Your life is a culmination of the decisions that you make. Then we talked about money. That was a popular topic. Then we talked about friends. Then last week we talked about grief. And then I'm actually going to extend this series one more week, because next week I'm going to talk about the greatest decision you'll ever make in your life, because life is a culmination of decisions. And then we're going to go into a series called Hall of Fame. We're going to go through God's Hall of Fame in November and December. But today I wanted to take a topic, and no doubt you're dealing with this, and if the people are around you that you're dealing with this, just don't say anything. But how many of y'all deal with drama? Okay, and some of you raised your hands, and some of you are like, I don't know if I should or not, because the person who's causing my drama is sitting behind me or in front of me or next to me, or I rode to church in a car with them, and if I answer that, it's just going to be more drama. So life has drama in it, and so we got to talk about it and kind of deal with it. And you know, here's just something for you to remember, because a lot of you didn't want to respond to that question because you don't want to feed into the drama. Because here's what happens: drama loves more drama. Pain loves more pain. Negativity loves more negativity. But what usually it has to happen and needs to be more of it, because here's what the Bible says about us. It says, blessed are the peacemakers. And a lot of people like to be peacekeepers. So you don't confront pain, you don't confront drama, you don't confront negativity, because you think you're keeping the peace, and that's being godly. Jesus said, blessed are the peacemakers. It means you have to make peace. And a lot of times how you make peace is you have to confront drama, you have to confront negativity, and you have to confront pain. Because when pain, negativity, and drama reaches a neutral party, it goes from a sizzle to a fizzle. You take it out. And so my question to you is that when things come your way, are you a sizzler or are you a fizzler? And I know, trust me, I know, because I'm trying to cause all kinds of drama today, that fizzler is not a word. And so all of you that are researching that out, I copyrighted it and trademarked it before I walked to the pulpit today. But are you a fizzler? Are you somebody that when drama, negativity, and pain comes your way, you take it from being a sizzling hot gossip, sizzling hot, and you make it into a fizzle? Or do you make it sizzle even more? Because you're supposed to be a peacemaker. And you're supposed to bring what's sizzling down to a fizzle. You're supposed to neutralize it and keep it from happening. So we have all kinds of drama. And I hear people say, when we talk about drama, they say, ain't nobody got time for that. But man, we spend a whole lot of time on it and in it. Okay? And so I thought I would take a few moments here, and I'd just kind of define a little bit about drama, talk about a little bit right here about how Melissa and I deal with drama. Melissa taught me something out of, I don't know where she come up with this wisdom other than God gave her this wisdom, but people come up to Melissa, and I've picked up on this because I've watched as Melissa responds to people with this little neutralizing statement that it's like the last time they ever come and talk to Melissa. And so I've picked up on it, so I say it, and so it's like the last time people want to talk to me about stuff, right? So when they come up and they're like, hey, did you hear? Did you know that so-and-so said about you? Do you know what that, and Melissa's like, no, I don't. But my question to you is why did they feel so comfortable in telling you? Why did they feel so comfortable in telling you that? And it's like the last time they ever talked to Melissa. And so I've watched that, and I'm like, oh, I'm going to adopt that. So when people come up and say things to me, I'm like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. So why did they feel so comfortable in talking to you about it? And then it's like the last time they talked to me, and I'm like, I win. Because ain't nobody got time for that. Right? I don't want drama people in my life. I got enough real drama in my life. I don't need yours. All right? So let's talk about drama. Let's talk about how you go from being a sizzler to a fizzler. But let's define drama. So maybe I have these weird little habits, and so I like to study Urban Dictionary. And so let me give you some things from Urban Dictionary about drama. Here's what it says. It's going to appear on the screens. What is drama? Drama is something women, especially teenage girls, thrive on. Consisting of any number of situations that really have an easy solution, which would bring a fairly good outcome, but these girls choose another bad way to deal with it. Again, consisting of backstabbing, blackmailing, gossiping, and betraying their friends, or the all too common, I want to break up with him, but I still love him. And it drives men and pastors and what I like to call normal girls just absolutely nuts. Drama. Drama is a way of relating to the world in which a person consistently overreacts or greatly exaggerates the importance of benign events. And so here's some common warning signs or risk factors of drama or a dramatic person. Number one, they have one supposedly serious problem after another. Anybody got somebody like that? And if you don't have anybody like that in your life, you're it. And as I go through these things, and if these convict you, the altar's open. Okay, number two, constantly telling other people about one's problems. Always. Every time you talk to them, they're like, you never want to ask this person, how are you doing? Because I promise you, good is not coming out. Number three, they have extreme emotionality or frequently shifting and intense emotions. They're on a roller coaster, and there is no flat spot. It's massive highs and massive lows. All right? Or they claim to have experienced negative events that are highly implausible. Okay, they're 18 years old, but they serve 10 tours in Nam. All right? Number five, they make claims without sufficient evidence or a lack of detail about supposedly serious events. Like, I have this dreadful disease, and you're like, okay, what is the doctor's treatment plan for you? I don't know. You just want drama. You want attention. Or they have a pattern of irrational behavior and reactions to everyday problems. So let me give you a few examples of this, all right? So Sarah had a slight fever and a mild cough. So she decides to use drama in order to receive sympathy and attention. So she has a cold, but she's not getting the attention she wants. So she tells everybody she's deathly ill. And then it goes like this. My mom died of a cold. My aunt died of a cold. My uncle died of a cold. My daughter's dying of a cold. My dog's got a cold. I've got a cold. You need to give me attention. Use drama. All right? Or Deborah lost her keys, and then she spent just hours crying and yelling at her husband. It's keys. Or Mary didn't answer her cell phone for an hour, so John feared that she died in a horrible car accident. And he's posting all over Facebook, I haven't heard from my wife. Everybody pray for my wife. And she was just in a meeting. Or someone stole Steve's can of Coca-Cola from the break room fridge, and now he believes that someone at work is out to destroy him and the devil is after him. And I noticed the altar is not filled yet. So I thought, you know what, maybe I'll give you a better example. Maybe y'all would relate to the high school version of this. So it's going to appear on the screen so you can read along with me. So it started 2 o'clock Wednesday when Jessica told Amber that Tasha's shirt is so cute. But Amber hates Tasha, so Amber told Vicky that Jessica said that Tasha's shirt was just so sliggity that she couldn't stand the sight of it in her. And so the next day at the infamous Mean Girls lunch table, Tasha splashes her iced tea on Jessica for calling her a skeezer, as told to her by Greg, who was told by Kaylee, and all of you are writing these words down right now to go home and research them out and what they mean. And she was told by Kaylee, who was told by Tony, who was told by Jessica's cousin Felicia, who you should have told by, who was told by Ashley, who was told by Vicky, who was told by Amber. That was the day that the skank wars began, and a 17-day riot took over the school when all the cute girls started carrying weapons in their coach purses. Drama never ends. It's only a cycle that gets reborn because Amber still won't forgive Tasha for whatever she did. Signed, your average high schooler or your everyday Facebook poster. All right, so maybe you don't relate to the high school version of that, but maybe you'll relate to the church version of it. It started 11 o'clock Sunday when John walked past Diana and didn't shake Lisa's hand. See, Diana already didn't like John, so Diana said to Lisa, boy, John must have something against you. He didn't shake your hand because you're in that new community group called Blackstone. And because you said you like Don, that means you don't like John. So the next day at the coffee break table at McDonald's, Diana, Lisa, and the whole church prophetic group got together and declared that John actually had a spirit of contention. So they all filled out their Facebook statuses with scripture that were full of innuendos about the spirit of contention so that John's wife would see that her husband was filled filled with that spirit of contention. But what actually happened is that while Diana was watching John walk past Lisa, Mandy walked past Diana, and Diana didn't shake Mandy's hand. And now Mandy is reading all those Facebook posts about contention, and she's asking forgiveness for a spirit that she doesn't even have. But Diana is considered to be the hyper-spiritual one, but she's the original pot stirrer. And John actually was just late checking into Clay Bradley's team meeting, and he was in a hurry. But you know, the truth doesn't matter when you want drama. How many of y'all have dealt with drama? Oh, they walked past me, didn't shake my hand or whatever. And it's just late to Clay's team meeting, or in this service, late to Ryan Lynn's team meeting. That's all, but drama. And so I thought, let me give you 5 reasons why we have drama. And these are the basic 5. Number 1 is sin. In Romans chapter 5, verse 12, it tells us that sin came in by one man. And because sin came in by one man, we have sin. And I know the word sin, I mean, even appearing on the screen, makes some people nervous because we don't want to talk about sin in church. But sin causes drama. Sin produces actually nothing but drama. Sin is the reason why we have so many problems in our world, why we have wars, why we have sicknesses, why we have diseases, and why we even have so many deaths in our world. It's the result of sin. And sin is the reason why homes break up, why marriages break up, and why friendships break up. It's because of sin. And if there was no sin in the world today, then we would have no drama in the world today. Sin causes drama. The second reason why we have drama is disobedience. And I know that's not a popular word in church because we want to think no matter what we do, we begin to morph the gospel to fit our lives. But when we are in disobedience, willful disobedience, because the scripture says, to him that knoweth to do good, and he does not do it, then it becomes a sin. And when we get into disobedience, we start disobeying God and his word, or let me help all the teenagers out, when you disobey your parents, you disobey your teachers, or us adults, when we break the law of the land, when we drive 46 and a 45 in a certain city not too far from here, you're going to get consequences of that. And now they got a pretty pink card, make you feel better about the donation that you're making to their city. The reason why, what's so funny is that y'all knew exactly who I was talking about. The reason why some people are in such bad shape and have so much drama in their lives is because they live their lives in complete disobedience to God. And usually a person who is always in disobedience and always bringing drama upon themselves is usually that person in your life that you can't tell them anything. They know everything. I don't want to listen to you. I know everything. They're in disobedience. And if they would actually learn to listen to somebody, and most importantly, if they learn to listen to God and God's word, they would not bring so much drama upon themselves. The third reason that we have drama is other people. And that's the reason why most of you wouldn't say amen to whether or not you're dealing with drama, because it's Bill's fault. Bill, and there are people in your life that will bring nothing but drama into your life. And it doesn't, listen, drama people, it has no boundaries. It doesn't matter how beautiful they are, good looking they are, whether or not they're dressed in a cranberry shirt and a leather jacket and black boots, or if they're sitting on the front row in a black skirt. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how beautiful they are. It doesn't matter what socio-economic background they have. There are people that love drama. They bring it into your lives. They love to bring drama into your lives. People who lie all the time bring drama into your life. People who are physically or verbally abusive, or might I even say spiritually abusive in your life, they bring drama into your life. And so then you have people who have no sense of direction or purpose for their life, and so they think that their call on their life is to bring drama into yours. Then there are people who want to over-spiritualize everything. They bring drama into your life because there has to be a spiritual answer to everything, okay? Like, why am I wanting to cheat on my wife? There's no spiritual answer. It's because you keep putting yourself in bad places. Am I mopping what you're dropping, or are you mopping what I'm dropping? Other people. So you have people who over-spiritualize everything. Then you have people who are just flat out in error scripturally who bring drama in your life. Because the hardest thing to do in life is to bring balance to it. There are people who want to over-spiritualize everything, and then there's people who never want to do anything spiritual. And I would avoid both of those people. You need to find people who know what real life is all about. And listen, the devil is not behind every bush or under every rock, nor is he behind every person's statements or Facebook post. And when you over-spiritualize things, then you think, my goodness, I got to figure out how to cast that spirit out. Well, here's the thing. You cannot disciple a demon, and you can't cast out flesh. So other people bring drama. Then number 4 is our enemy. 1 Peter chapter 5, verse 8 talks about our adversary, the devil. He's like a roaring lion seeking whom he may devour. And what he does is he brings drama into your life. And you say, well, it's not devouring me. Actually, it is, because what you're doing is the first thing you do in the morning is you get on Facebook, and it ruins the rest of your day. Had you not got on Facebook the first thing in the day and you actually got in your Bible, it would have made your day a whole lot different. So Satan loves to bring drama. So he comes to what? John 10:10, to steal, to kill, and destroy. And so you need to filter drama through that. Is it stealing from me? And man, I need to tell you that social media is a big time robber. You know what a robber does, right? It steals forcefully from you. Because here's what y'all do after 3 hours of sorting through everybody else's drama. You're like, what did I just do for 3 hours? Number 5, and the reason why I did this because I was just building you up like my dress today. I've been building you up to expect me in a pair of jeans that didn't have holes in them and a sports jacket or in a suit and tie. And today I come out totally different because I wanted you to get real comfortable. Oh, he talked about other people. He talked about my adversary. But here's the thing. The 5th reason why is our decisions. Our decisions bring drama into our life. We make decisions that bring drama into our life. And so we need to be very careful about the decisions we make. So let me give you a biblical example of this. So Adam and Eve are in the garden. They have wonderful. There's no drama. There's no Facebook. They're only friends with each other. There's none of that. And so, Eve is out by a tree. She's hanging out of the tree, and Satan tempts her. And just because you're tempted doesn't mean you need to fall for the temptation. Because there's going to be temptation in your life, and you have to decide whether or not you're going to succumb to the temptation or not. And so because she succumbs to the temptation, and let me give all of us married folks and all of us single folks a word of advice. Most often we fall when we're alone. Adam wasn't with her at the temptation. He waited till he got him separated. And if the enemy's coming into your life right now causing drama, the reason why he's causing drama is drama causes a separation in marriages. It causes a separation in relationships. It causes separation between you and God. And what does the devil do? He divides, then he conquers. And he uses drama to divide things. And it's not even real. It's just a thought that goes in your mind. And then you begin to make a decision, and that decision causes drama. So she makes a decision to eat the fruit salad. I don't know if it was an apple. I don't know what it was. But whatever it was tempting enough for her to take it, not realizing the drama that was going to be played out the rest of their lives. And just because you've been tempted by something doesn't mean you need to succumb to it. Because listen, by succumbing to temptation in your life, you are setting your life up for a whole life of drama. And so then she goes to Adam, and there's just drama. And let me give you a little verse. Maybe you've never heard this verse, but let me read it to you. It's in 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and verse 13. It says, no temptation has overtaken you except such as is common to man. But God is faithful, who will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you are able. But with the temptation, with every temptation, will also make the way of escape that you may be able to bear it. So he's saying, is there going to be a temptation, but you have a choice, a decision to make. And if you don't fall to the temptation, you're going to eliminate a whole lot of drama in your life. But if you fall to the temptation, you are going to have all kinds of drama playing out in your life. And he's telling you, just because you're tempted doesn't mean that you have to fall for it. You need to get around some people, because in the multitude of counselors, there is safety, and they'll help you and say, you are not to make that decision. You ought not to do that. You ought not to cheat on your wife. You ought not to go to that chat room. You ought not to accept that friend request. That woman looks like she's a part of that skank war. I don't understand why my wife doesn't trust me. Could it be that you've made a decision that to only friend people who were your old flames? And you're like, God, I don't understand what's going on in my marriage. It's probably your Facebook account. And you can ask God for all the help, but you control it. You're making a decision, and you need to start making better decisions over it, because you're headed for drama. Called a divorce. Because you know what happens in a divorce, right? People die. relationships die. So it's all about your decisions. So I wanted to maybe help you out with some decision-making filters, if you will. And here's number one. The easiest person to deceive is the person that stares at you in the mirror. As a matter of fact, James talks about that. James said, you look in the mirror, you see, and then as soon as you walk away from that, you forget what manner of a person you are. The easiest person to deceive is you. You need to understand that. You can deceive yourself. And you need to be very careful with it. Number two, what you are doing right now in your present, what you're deciding right now in your present, it will become your past. And you need to make decisions in your present, because here's what happens. We'll make decisions right now, and then we'll try to hide that from other people. What are you doing? You're hiding your past. So wouldn't it be better just to make better decisions right now in your present so that you don't have to hide your past? I tell my kids all the time, I tell my wife all the time, when we first got together, I told her, there's no skeletons in my closet. There's no boy going to show up at the door, ring the doorbell and say, Jason's my daddy. I have nothing to hide. And so because I have nothing to hide in my past, it helps my future. And in order to keep that going on in my life, I have to make good decisions in the present. Because whatever decision you make right now in the present will ultimately become your past, and it will affect your future. And you need to make better decisions right now. So how do you make better decisions? Well, let me start with this. Why don't you try doing something important in your life? Because people who do important things in their life don't really have time for drama. People are running businesses and people are taking the gospel out into the highways and the byways and compelling people. They ain't got time for your drama. Every time Felicia comes with drama, they say, bye, Felicia. I don't have time for you. Why? Because I'm doing something important. And when I have something important to do, I'm filtering your drama through my destiny and my purpose over your life. And I don't have time. Listen, this is what Nehemiah, who was coming? Sanballat and Tobiah were coming to cause drama over what they were doing and who was on the list and who wasn't on the list. And Nehemiah said, listen, I don't have time for your drama. All I have time for is to build a wall. I have something very important to do in my life, and it doesn't involve you. Do something important. And here's what most people say. I need to be important before I'll do something important. Can I tell you that you'll never be important unless you start doing something important? So right where you are, you need to get an idea over building a wall, whatever it is that God has for you. And that level of importance that you start feeling, you'll realize, I don't have time for your drama. And you'll start asking people like Melissa, so why did they feel so comfortable in telling you? All right? Number four, if you want to make great decisions now, you need to have a clear vision of your future. Where do you want to be? And let me add this in there. You should never, all the single people in the house, can y'all just scream at me just a second? One. I don't know what that was over there, but hey. We may need to work on that mating call or something. I don't know. All right, all the single people in the house, what's up? There we go. All right, so let me help all you out, all right? You should never make a decision in the present for somebody who will not be in your future. You should never change your present circumstances for somebody who will not matter 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, or 5 years down the road. Don't change who you are for somebody who will not be in your future.
So good.
Y'all mind if I get a little brass tacks for you? All right? You shouldn't give it up for somebody who won't give up. Is that bold enough for you? Because I see a lot of you throwing yourselves at people who don't matter. And my lady friends, y'all are valuable. And what you're doing is causing a whole lot of drama in your life. And you're creating soul ties where there shouldn't be any tie. Drama. I'm glad I wore boots today. So don't trade your future for someone who won't be in your future. Don't ever trade your future. Let me read you some Bible verses. It's found in Ephesians chapter 5. I'm going to read it out of the Message Bible because the Message Bible, y'all think Jesus was like this pacifist. The Bible is pretty bold. Bolder than what I just said. Listen to what it says. Watch what God does, then do it. Let's just end right there. Like children who learn proper behavior from their parents, mostly what God does is love you. Keep company with Him and learn a life of love. Observe how Christ loved us And his love was not cautious but extravagant. That's a beautiful line. And he didn't love in order to get something from us, but to give everything of himself to us. Love like that. Don't allow love to turn into lust, setting off a downhill slide into sexual promiscuity, filthy practices, or bullying greed. Though some tongues just love the taste of gossip, they're fizzlers. Those who follow Jesus have better use for language than that. Don't talk dirty or silly. That kind of talk doesn't fit our style. Thanksgiving is our dialect. You can be sure that using people or religion or things just for what you can get out of them, the usual variations on idolatry will get you nowhere, and certainly nowhere near the kingdom of Christ, the kingdom of God. Don't let yourselves get taken in by religious smooth talk. God gets furious with people who are full of religious sales talk but want nothing to do with him. Don't even hang around people like that. You groped your way through that murk once, but no longer. You're out in the open now. In other words, you're getting free from the drama. You've already groped through that murk once. Now you're getting free. You're out in the open, and the bright light of Christ makes your way plain. So no more stumbling around. Get on with it. The good, the right, the true. These are the actions appropriate for daylight hours. Figure out what will please Christ and then do it. Don't waste your time on useless work, mere busy work, and the barren pursuits of darkness. Expose these things for the sham that they are. It's a scandal when people waste their lives on things they must do in the darkness where no one will see. Rip the cover off those frauds and see how attractive they look in the light of Christ. Wake up from your sleep and climb out of your coffins, and Christ will show you the light. So watch your step, use your head, and make the most of every chance you get. These are desperate times, and don't live carelessly, unthinkingly. Make sure you understand what the Master wants, and he did not come to watch you be steeped in drama. That is a work of darkness. You need to focus on things that are in light. So I thought, well, because we deal with drama, what are some practical ways that we can reduce the drama in our lives? So I'm going to give you 5 practical ways, then I'm going to give you 5 biblical ways, and then I'm going to run for my office. All right, number 1. Actually, I'm going to meet y'all in the lobby. Number 1, and this is good, recognize that you might be the one creating the drama. Oh, snap. Recognize you might be the one creating the drama, because what you put out is what you will attract. How many of y'all remember this old life adage? Your mom and dad used to say, birds of a feather flock together. So if you negative, you're going to hang around people who are negative. You a drama queen, you're going to be around a bunch of drama queens, because you attract what you put out. Okay? And so drama typically comes from our reaction to other people's actions. So if you find yourself consistently overreacting to other people's actions, or every time there's a Facebook post out, you think it's about you, you just might be the one creating the drama. Or I like to say like this, if Bill has a problem with John, and if your name's Bill in this room, I love you. Okay, but I couldn't choose a weird name, like I couldn't say Pee-wee, because everybody know who I was talking about. All right, there's only one Pee-wee in the building, but there may be 100 Bills. And if you want to give me 100 bills, that's cool. But if Bill has a problem with John, and Bill has a problem with Joe, and Bill has a problem with Jason, who's the constant in that? Bill. And you're the only constant in every story of your life. And so if you consistently have problems with everything, you just might be Bill. Okay? You might have a problem with everybody. You're Bill. And so Bill's that constant. So Bill is actually the problem. And sometimes you need to recognize that you may have a tendency to want to be negative. And so here's the solution for you. You need to break that old life adage and don't hang around other negative people. Go get around some positive people, because we've already learned in this series that you become the average of the 5 people you hang around. And so if everybody in your room is anti this and anti that and don't like this and don't like that and they got a problem with everything, guess what? You're going to become that. So get around some people that want to do important things in their life, and they want to do amazing things, and they love God and they love people, and it'll change who you are. All right? So that leads me to number 2. You ought to reconsider unhealthy relationships. In other words, if you're not Bill and Bill is your friend, maybe you and Bill ought not to go fishing together all the time. Because if Bill has a problem with Joe, and Bill's got a problem with John, and Bill's got a problem with Jason, guess what? You're going to have a problem with John, and you're going to have a problem with Joe, and you're going to have a problem with Jason. And so maybe you and Bill maybe you don't want to spend 4 hours on the golf course together. Because every time he misses a putt, it's Pastor Jason's fault. Everything's somebody else's fault. It's somebody else's problem. Or maybe you and Bill need to have a discussion about boundaries. Say, Bill, we want to be friends. I want to be your friend, and I love you. But when you come over to my house, I don't want to talk about that. And if you can't respect that boundary, then you've made the choice to not be my friend. This is the boundary. Don't cross it. If you want to come over here and you want to talk, we'll talk about the good things of God, because that's what we're biblically supposed to do. We're supposed to think on things that are lovely and worthy of praise and worthy of honor. And we'll talk about those things. But if you want to badmouth the church, we can't be friends. That's the boundary. I don't want to hear about that. You and Bill need to maybe have some things. So, and may I say this to you, there are times I realize that being alone is better than being with somebody who's in drama. I'll go fishing by myself. You're so negative, the fish aren't even biting. They don't want to get in the boat with you either. You're going to use that excuse one day, aren't you? It would have been this big, but I was with Bill. So here's number 3, and I practice this. I practice what I preach. Be straight up. What do I mean by that? Most drama is caused by miscommunication or a misunderstanding, because we tiptoe through the tulips, we drop hints, we say things without actually saying them, and so then there's a misunderstanding, so it causes drama. So you just need to be straight up. You know why people like Pastor Jason and Pastor Melissa? We straight up. You know why people don't like Pastor Jason and Pastor Melissa? We straight up. But you know what? It's amazing. It's liberating, because now I don't have to tiptoe through the tulips, nor do I have to watch what I say, watch what I do, watch everything in my life, because all the people who don't like me are out of my life, and the people that are around me have my best interests at heart, and they're not looking for things to cause drama in my life. It's liberating. You ought to try it. Be straight up. Don't miscommunicate. Don't tiptoe through the tulips. Don't walk on eggshells. Don't walk around the block to make a point that you could have walked out in the middle of the street to make. I'm sorry, I can't be around you. You're cheating on your wife, and I don't like that. You know why? Because I can't hang around people who cheat on their wife, because you know what? I'm going to become the average of the people that I hang around, and I don't want to cheat on my wife because I love my wife. But if I hang around you, suddenly I'll begin to excuse your behavior because we're still friends. So you need to be careful who you hang around. Be straight up with them, man. Just don't make a point without making the point. Like, we're just going to not hang around them anymore. And they have no idea what happened. They think you're still friends. They're still sending you Christmas cards, and you can't stand them because you have failed to communicate. And now you have drama in your life because they'll invite you out to dinner, and you don't know what to say when you should have said it. Now, listen, it's harder at first, but, man, will it save you in the long run. Now, listen, don't be rude. Don't be mean. That's right. Because the goal is to reconcile and restore, not to divide. Amen. But you need to be straight up with people. And may I say this? You need to allow people to be straight up in your life. And if everybody has to walk around on eggshells around you, tiptoeing through the tulips to you, then how are you getting honest feedback about your life? Like, when I hang around my wife and my 2 girls, I get all kinds of honest feedback. Like this: Dad, you dress like an old man. So they took me shopping, and I paid. And boy, did I pay. I paid. I walked around in humble pie all weekend long. Or in my relationship with my wife, we're just straight up and honest. I mean, one day we were taking the kids. It's been a long time, but we were taking the kids to Forward Conference. And so Melissa and I were driving one of the 15-passenger vans. We were chaperoning. We were just amazing. And by the time we got down to the refuge, Melissa and I were just bantering the way we always banter back and forth. One of the girls said, "Do I need to call my mom and dad? Are you guys going to be okay?" So this is just how we talk to each other. We're just being honest with you. She told me I was driving too fast, and I said the people around me were driving too slow. People need to be able to be honest with you and have honest feedback and be straight up. So let me help you all you spouses out, okay? When she says, "How was the dinner? Was that good, honey?" And you go, It was amazing. What you have just done is you're going to eat meals like that the rest of your life. And you lie for 55 years. And that's why every night you say, honey, don't you want to go down to Golden Corral? Don't you? I'll take you out to eat, honey. I'll take you. When you could have been honest right up front. Now listen, when Melissa and I first got married, she didn't know how to burn water. The girl can cook now, but it was, man, I'm going to tell you, we used to have intense moments of fellowship in our house. When she said, is this good? And I said, you got to bring the water to a boil, honey. Pasta doesn't get flimsy. Macaroni and cheese don't get flimsy until the water boils for a while. Now, if you all think that's a one-way street in our house, you got another thing coming. Because there's been some times when Melissa has said some things that I needed to hear. Okay? So it can't be just you being straight up and nobody else being straight up with you. It works both ways. Be straight up. Number 4, change your attitude. Okay? A lot of drama takes place right between your ears. Right here. Ain't even real. You had a bad dream. The first thing you read on Facebook is your friend saying something, and so you're already in a bad mood. You already woke up, and some of you, I don't even think you know what the side of the bed is, because I think you clumb over the headboard and through the wall and out the foundation into a grave and into a valley, and you and the devil had a face-to-face conversation every day of your life, because that's what your Facebook post says. Feeling perturbed. I'm like, it's 5 o'clock in the morning. What happened? Wow. I would go back to bed. Yeah. Coffee. So a lot of drama is right between your ears. It's in your brain. And listen to this. Anybody can point out problems. But people with power are the people who provide solutions to problems. Anybody can, how many of y'all got somebody in your life like that? Like I wrote 15 pages of something the other day and I had somebody proofread it, and I made one mistake, and the one mistake I made was on the word to. I misused the word to. I didn't add a third letter in to, which makes to the word also. And they reminded me of my one mistake on the word to 3 times. Y'all kitchen the math, right? And I'm like, what about the other 15 pages that I did? What was the content like? Did it make biblical sense? Was it hermeneutically and homiletically correct? Or did you just get so focused on the word to that you couldn't read anything else? Anybody, how many of y'all got somebody in your life? They are the perfect problem pointer outer. You swept the floor, and before they got home to inspect the floor sweeping, a piece of dust came off the ceiling and landed in the middle of the floor. Oh, I see elbows flying in this house right now. And you didn't sweep the floor. What's wrong with you? And they're pointing out one problem. But honey, I swept the whole house. I know men that don't even know what a sweeper is. So let me say this to you. If you find yourself getting overwhelmed by situations, step back. Just take a step back and see if what you're getting so worked up over will matter 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 10 years down the road. You caused a fight over a piece of dust that fell out of the ceiling that your husband didn't even know about, and now you're ready to divide half your stuff over a piece of dust. Does it matter? Change your attitude. Okay? Remove yourself from the emotional moment. Think strategically and think critically. Do you honestly believe that he swept the whole house and left that piece? But drama. So you got to change your attitude. Number 5, don't feed into other people's drama. Be an observer. How many of y'all just watch people? I love to observe people. I want to go to the mall sometimes, not even to shop. I just want to go to the mall and just watch people. I'm like, those people are crazy. And then I pull up on my phone, I'm like, people at Walmart, I'm like, I knew I see those people before. And me and Melissa were standing in the mirror. Just making sure you're listening. I just love watching people. And so I watch people, and maybe y'all do this. I watch somebody's negative Facebook post go out, and I'm like, man, people are just liking that. And there's some Facebook posts, I don't know whether to like or not. Like, when somebody puts out their diagnosis, I'm like, I don't know if I want to hit like. I don't like that, but I need them to know that I read it, so I hit like. I'm so glad you got diagnosed with that. A negative Facebook goes out, everybody loves it and likes it, and then something positive goes out, and you got to pay your wife to like it. Why? We have the propensity to want to fall over and feed the negativity. Why? Because our flesh man loves that darkness. And that's why when you get up in the morning, you shouldn't feed your flesh man first. You should feed your spiritual man first. And if you feed that spiritual man first, then all of a sudden everything else comes into a whole different life. Remember in Ephesians, it said, rip the covers off that fraud. Listen, Facebook's not the most important thing in the morning. Social media is not the most important thing. Don't feast on that drama in the morning. And don't feed into other people's things, because when you hit like, they're like, oh man, then how I get attention is to put out negativity and to put out drama, and then people like me. And some people, the only attention they get is negative. And so they're like feasting on that. Don't feed into other people's drama. Because they just stay there. Like there's some people don't want to get healed because they don't even know who they are without the sickness.
Come on. Preach.
So let me give you 5 biblical ways. I gave you 5 practical ways. 5 biblical ways. I got to hurry. Number 1, speak respectfully. Okay? Disagreements and misunderstandings that happen in life, but that's no excuse to have disrespect for people. Y'all remember this? A soft answer turneth away wrath. And I gave you 3 verses there, and I'm going to move quickly. Number 2, God has a solution to people problems. And I forgot, you got to write those down. So God has a solution for people problems. It's found in Matthew chapter 18. It's a pattern. And I understand that this pattern was written for church folk in a church setting, but it's a good practice everywhere. First of all, the number 1 part of that is you go to the person individually. Like when John walks by you and John doesn't shake your hand, that's none of Mindy's business. You need to go to John. Because what happens is when you go to Mindy and you're like, what did I do to John? And then when Mindy's like, oh, I don't know, then you go over to Sally and you say, Sally, John didn't shake my hand today. What's up with that? Then you and John finally reconcile, but Mindy and Sally are still mad at John. And you just caused drama. You just worked for the enemy. Go to the person individually. If they won't listen, then you go get somebody else, preferably a neutral party, an elder in the church, and you go and you stick to the issue. And I say this about married couples all the time. Most married couples never want to stick to the issue because they really didn't even know what the issue is. They get into a fight, and they were arguing about where they were going to eat, and this phenomenal place called I don't care or I don't know becomes the topic of conversation, and then that digresses down into you burnt the eggs 50 years ago. It just explodes. And the enemy is in between that, and he's just feeding that. Throw another log on that fire. Because why? Pain likes more pain. Drama likes more drama. So say something so drastic that they feel the pain that you feel, and then some. And then you feel that pain, and then you say something back to them so that they'll feel the pain that you feel, and then some. And then you feel that pain, and so you say something back to them so that they'll feel the pain, and then some, until the point where you kill each other with your words. And it all began over drama. Just drama that happened. So God has a solution, and you need to follow it in Matthew chapter 18, verses 15 through 17. And then some of us need to learn this. Number 3 is sometimes you just need to walk away. And I gave you this story. This is the story in 1 Samuel chapter 24, verses 1 through 15. And it's the story when David cut off a piece of Saul's robe. And he held it up, and he realized then that his fight with Saul really wasn't a fight between him and Saul. Saul had a problem with God. Now, this is the same guy that years earlier saw a Goliath out in the field, and he ran towards that fight. Now he says, you know what? This is a disagreement that I need to walk away from. And can I just help you out with that? You need to decipher the difference between Goliath and Saul in your life. Because often God will bring a Goliath into your life so that you'll find the David that is within you. Then there are times that there's a Saul that happens in your life, and that isn't for you to find the David within you. That's to remember the God that's within you. And you need to be able to decipher, is it a fight worth running towards, or is it a fight worth running away from? Because listen, if it's a fight worth running towards, when you get there, God will empower you and you'll win that. Then there are times that you need to stand still and let God fight the battle, and you're never going to win it in your own flesh, in your own strength, and you need to walk away from that and just say, you know what, this isn't my fight. You have a problem with God, and you and God need to sort that out. Number 4 is you need to agree to disagree. There's just sometimes, and I'm watching people lose friendships over whether or not you're a Trump or you're a Clinton or whether you're a Republican or whether you're a Democrat, where you stand on this issue and that issue. And there's sometimes, and listen, you get into this argument and both of you walk out under the same opinion that you started the argument with, but now you're mad at each other because you got into a fight over something that won't amount to a hill of beans come eternity. And sometimes you just have to agree to disagree. And in Acts chapter 15, this is the story of Paul and Barnabas. I mean, they're tight, they're friends, they're in ministry together, y'all. People in ministry have fights. And they're fighting over a guy named Mark. Now, nobody knows who was right, who was wrong. All we know is that they agreed to disagree and they walked away from each other. But later on, the Apostle Paul realizes that Barnabas was right about Mark. And he said, you bring John Mark with you, for he is profitable to me. Sometimes you just have to agree to disagree. Y'all Cubs fans, I've just had to learn to agree to disagree with you. I love you nonetheless. But listen, as simple as that sounds, like you mean you would bust up for friendship over a baseball team? Well, you mean you would bust up your marriage over somebody on Facebook? Agree to disagree. Stay friends. Number 5. Recognize the source. Recognize the source. James chapter 4, verses 1 through 10. Where do wars and fights come from among you? Do they not come from your desires for pleasure that war in your members? You lust and you do not have. You murder and you covet and you cannot obtain. You fight and war, yet you do not have because you do not ask. You ask and do not receive because you ask amiss, that you may spend it on your pleasure. In other words, you're going after the drama things instead of the light things. You're going after that negativity instead of God's positivity. And can I tell you this? The reason why I taught this whole lesson is you're never going to avoid drama. It's there. Because sin's still in our world. There's other people still around you. You're not going to live on an island all by yourself. You're going to have drama. But the scripture I read to you in Ephesians chapter 5 said that we're to follow Christ, do what Christ did. And when Christ was on the earth, man, he had drama. He had drama from without. He had the Pharisees, he had the Sadducees, he had the Romans, he had Pontius Pilate. He had all these people just launching attacks at him, running him down, calling him false prophets. Who does he think he is? He's a heretic. He's all these things. He had drama from without. And you're like, man, I can handle drama from without. It's the drama from within. I just can't handle people that are close to me, stab me in the back. But here's the thing. Jesus not only had drama from without, Jesus had drama from within. I mean, he chose 12 people. They were the only people on Facebook together. There's 12 bros. And in that group, he had one that would betray him, one that would deny him, and then when he took them all out to dinner at Logan's, they're arguing about who's going to sit at which seat. So they were loving him for what he could do for them. That's drama. And here's the thing, and here you need to follow the example. Even though you have drama from without, drama from within, you need to make sure you do like Jesus, because none of the drama from without or from within deterred Jesus from his purpose or his destiny. And the drama from without or from within in your life should not deter you from your destiny either. And I told you earlier, you should never exchange your future for somebody who's not going to be in your future. And so when the enemy comes to you, he's not going to be in your future, y'all. He's not going to be in heaven. He's not in your future plans. And you should never exchange your future for somebody who's not going to be in your future. But you should change and exchange your future for somebody that's going to be in your future. And Jesus is going to be in your future. So you should make an exchange. Give him your drama. Turn all those problems over to him. And he's going to be in your future. That's somebody you change for. I'm going to give it up. I'm going to change my attitude. I'm going to change my behavior. Why? Because Jesus is going to be my future. But when the enemy comes, he's not in my future. And I'm not changing for him. I'm not changing for him. I'm not giving anything up for him. So if you would just bow your heads with me. And if you're in this room and, man, you have drama from without. You got drama from within. You feel like you're being attacked on every side. I challenge you today, don't let that deter you from your destiny. Don't let that deter you from who God wants you to be in your life. So Heavenly Father, across this room, I pray, Lord, that you would strengthen our hearts and our minds and our spirits, that we would rip the covers off that fraud, off that deception, over those lies that the enemy is whispering into our ears, trying to divide us and to conquer us and to separate us and cause us to think about things that are not thoughts to God that you would have towards us. But Lord, we're supposed to be imitators of Christ. And so Lord, would you let us see the light Be the light. And may we be made lighter by getting rid of the burdens that are caused by drama. And we'll take your yoke, because your yoke is easy and your burden is light in our lives. So Lord, deliver us from drama and let us accomplish the destiny for our lives. In Jesus' name I pray. And all of God's people said, amen.